so we have a fun little exchange here in Congress. I like it anytime people, these guys hold them accountable, and Kucinich is good at that. So let's watch.
50 million Americans can't get any health care at all. Now, Dr. Gratzer, you've tried to make the case for rationing in Canada, worse than it is in the U.S. Do you know what Statistics Canada, the analog to the U.S. Census, says the median wait time is across Canada for elective surgery?
Why don't you inform us, sir?
It's 4 weeks. And what does Statistics Canada say the median wait time for diagnostic imaging like MRIs is?
I could tell you the Ontario government recently looked at that for...
It's 3 weeks.
...cancer was 6 months.
It's 3 weeks. How many uninsured are there in Canada?
Probably relatively few.
That's right. None or very few. How many medical bankruptcies are there in Canada?
It depends how you define a medical bankruptcy.
None or very few. How many insured Americans go without needed care due to high cost of health care, which is due to health insurance companies?
Am I allowed to answer, or are we just going to continue to...
Well, if you have an answer, you can answer. But if you don't, I'll answer. So what's your answer?
Go for it, sir.
What's your answer?
Why don't you answer your question, sir?
What's your answer?
My answer...
How many insured Americans go without needed care due to the high cost of health care, which is due to health insurance companies? The witness isn't responding.
The witness is delighted to speak further on those statistics and other statistics, but you keep cutting me off, sir.
You respond if you have an answer. You didn't give an answer to the other
one. I'm not going
ones.
to be led down a garden path. If you'd like to ask me a question, I'd be glad to answer.
You've showed a garden here to members of this committee and to the audience. There's another side of the picture you don't seem to be aware of, even though you want to be an expert on Canada.
Sir,
can you provide us with an answer on this one about America?
But my position is respectable, and I dislike your comments, sir.
Do you have an answer? How many insured Americans go without needed care due to high cost of health care, which is due to health insurance companies? He has no answer. Well, what the answer is it's 1 out of every 4.
Please, your questions.
That one's not as good without the video because you got to see the guy.
Yeah, he's like, I'm Dr. Gratzer from the Manhattan Institute. I'm a senior fellow.
That guy was not a senior fellow. That guy was like 25 years old.
Oh, they don't care. They want somebody to pretend to be a senior fellow that pretends to know something about this to go and spew their BS.
No, they picked that young guy and they stuck him out there because he's like, this guy doesn't even know what he's getting into. I'm not going. You send the kid.
Dr. Gratzer, it's your turn. Oh, really? Oh, in front of Congress. Fantastic. Oh, it didn't turn out fantastic for you. I love when he said, my position is respectable. And I don't like the kind of questions you're asking me. Well, is that right? Why don't you not answer that? Now, to be fair, Kucinich was a little hostile.
Yeah.
Okay. But he's got a reason to be hostile. He's like, look, you come in here with your BS about, oh, yeah, Canada sucks and our system rocks. And I'm not buying it. Here's the real numbers on Canada. How you like them apples? Okay? So spare me your...
I don't see why it's so difficult to figure out health care. Because, I mean, there are countries that do have it. And it does work, and they've got decades of studies on it.
Now, that's the thing I've always been amazed by. Even back when I was in school, when we studied political science, I'd always ask, maybe I was naive and didn't know how things worked back then, I'd ask, well, there's so many different governments who do so many different ways of doing healthcare, energy, national security,
healthcare and education. How
education? So why? I'm like, doesn't someone obviously study what all the countries do and see what works best and what works least best, and then wouldn't other countries adjust?
But there's money involved.
And the short answer to my question was no. No, of course not. I mean, somebody studies it, but then the Republicans say, oh, yeah, pinhead professor. Right. We're not going to listen to that nonsense. But we know, in this case, in healthcare, we know we're number 37. Our system sucks. And who spends the most money? We do.
Yeah.
So we spend all this money on a system that doesn't work.
Because it's for profit. It's like, I'm sure 20 cents out of every dollar you're spending goes to actual medicine.